Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Primetime Valley. We from the 4-4 chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating no dragons who run the whole city, you wildin'. And they really bout it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And kinda y'all flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the 4-4. This for the 4-4. This for the 4-4.
All right, everybody, welcome to the 440 Sports Show. I'm Sam Torres. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's go ahead and make sure we've got sound. All right, we've got sound. That's good. All right, so, here we are. It's week 2 of the football season. Tonight, we've got a pretty big show ahead of us. We've got our week 2 player of the week, which is going to be Edgewood's Tony Hall, joining us here in just a little bit. We are going to be releasing the area football leaders tonight, so we've got all those stats in. There are some defensive stats that are missing right now, but we've got a lot, so we'll be releasing the county leaders as they stand right now. We're also going to be introducing back in the volleyball results, and results and stat leaders are coming back to the show tonight. I'm really excited. Here we go into week 2 already, back into 440 Sports Show. We are prime time again. During baseball, running an everyday show, but we're going back to that Wednesday 8:30 hour, where we're going to meet up with you guys once a week right here on YSN Live, 440 Sports Show, on our Facebook and our YouTubes, everywhere where you can take in your sports. Your sports network is your home for high school sports. So that's all I've got for the preamble. I'm not going to waste too much time tonight, because the guy that's getting our Player of the Week award this week is somebody who's gotten it in the past. This is a guy who's very, very well known to the show. As a matter of fact, he was the county's leading passer in 2022, and he's coming back this year and firing on all cylinders. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the show Tony Hall, and he is going to be joined by some Edgewood Warriors, just like he always is. I love it. Edgewood, you'll never find a Warrior by themselves, will you?
Nope.
So it looks like we got Mikey Bisbee and Seth Enos here joining us here, and let's pull this up on the screen as well. Tony Hall coming in this week, 6 for 8. Now, a lot of people look at that stat line and they're like, hey, that's not very much, but 154 yards with 3 touchdown passes out of that, and he went ahead and rushed for 1 as well. Tony, what's going on? How you feeling tonight, bud?
I feel good tonight. Preparing for Harvey this week, so it should be a good one on Friday.
Yeah, you talk about preparing for Harvey this week, your week 3 matchup. But last week you have a conference matchup in Grand Valley. They are in the CVC Chagrin, but it's all the same conference. You guys are starting off pretty hot. You had a pretty good week against Liberty to open up the year, and you guys went out there to Grand Valley and really, really got the job done. I don't think passing has ever been something that people have wondered when it comes to you, Tony. What is, one of the things that I think is opening people's eyes is you're not afraid to tuck that thing and run this year. You've put some work in, it looks like, on the running side of your game. What are some of the things you were working on? Was that a focus point, or was that just something that kind of comes with getting older and getting more used to being under center all the time?
I think being older for me, just understanding that if I want defenses to more bite on our run more, I'm going to have to pull the ball down and carry it a couple of times. And if there's a blitzer coming, I should just replace him and run. I'm more confident in myself running the ball too this year. So that's why I've had a couple of touchdowns and a couple rushing yards this year.
Yeah, so what was, you talked about the little bit of running, but what did you focus on in the offseason to make sure that, when you came out for your senior year, now you're a third-year starter. Now, granted, you come in sophomore year about not halfway through the season, but already into the season, and last year was your first full-time deal as the starting quarterback. Coming into your senior year, a lot of stuff changes, not only as a football player, but as a leader and stuff like that. What were some of the things you wanted to make sure you got ready for your swan song?
I would say I knew I was going to be able to throw the ball this year because you're just only going to get better when you grow over a year. But I think my biggest thing was trying to understand our offense more, read defenses better, and improve my accuracy and where I'm going to be throwing the ball.
Yeah, and the offense has taken a little bit of a change this year. This is something I think Coach Cooper has been trying to really institute since taking over as the head coach, and that is getting the run game established. Now, as a quarterback, no quarterback really wants to hear we want to get that run game established. What was that something you had to get used to, or was it just about let's go out and get the wins no matter how they come?
I think winning by 50 for anyone is going to be great, whether you run the ball for 500 yards or you throw the ball for 500 yards in a game. So when we played Liberty and we rushed and we ran all over them, it felt good. So it's also good to have a 50-50 offense. You can run the ball and you can throw. Like some games you're going to be more strong throwing, some games you're going to be more strong running. So I think implementing a run game this year is going to help us in the long run, even after week 10.
Yeah, you have one of the real it's a gift really in that your head coach was a quarterback at a very high level. So what are some of the conversations you guys have, when it comes to being a quarterback on that higher level and higher level thinking?
It's mainly just like critiquing the smaller things. So when I do make a mistake, he notices it and he'll tell me what I did wrong, and then next play we'll normally switch it up, or we'll just go with the same thing, and then I'll try and implement that little thing that he told me to tweak, and it usually helps and goes to my advantage.
Yeah, so when you guys showed up, obviously we know what happened with the Liberty game, but the Grand Valley game is still pretty fresh in a lot of people's minds. What was going on in that game for you personally, making sure you wanted to get out there and dominate early, make sure that they didn't have a chance to come back? What were you trying to get accomplished, and how was that game for you?
Well, going into the game, our goal was to get 48 points for Coach Henton's birthday. So we got 48 points, and it felt good doing that. Especially doing it in a half, giving our young guys the chance in the second half to get some varsity time, get some more experience out there. But I think we knew going into that week that we were just going to have to let everybody know that the week before wasn't just a little, it wasn't fake. That's who we're going to be this year. We're going to put points up. And then when our young guys get the chance to shine, we're going to let them shine. And they went out and they scored a touchdown too. So, but I think dominate right off the ball is our big goal, and be aggressive.
Now, did last year's game play any part of getting ready for this year? Because last year you guys got into an absolute dogfight when you guys played Grand Valley and Orwell, and I think it was a little bit of a surprise, definitely not to the Grand Valley guys, obviously, but I think it was a little bit of a surprise to some of the Edgewood guys that you guys were in such a tough game.
Oh, for sure. That week we didn't bring it up as much, but it was definitely brought up how we didn't play how we were supposed to. We didn't ever want to get put in that situation again where you're having to fight that hard when you should win by a couple of touchdowns. But for sure, no, that definitely got brought up. I don't know if it was as much wanting for us to think about it, though. We kind of just we knew that we were a different team this year, and we wanted to go out and just be very aggressive and get some points up early.
Yeah, what are some things that you guys are really looking forward to getting accomplished this year as a team?
I think being the first team in school history to win a playoff game is for sure one. Going 10-0. And then players have a lot of personal goals this year. So I think as a team, though, our goal is 500 yards total offense every single game. And just to put points up like we've been doing and have our defense get a lot of 3-and-outs would be that's our goals for this season.
So, this year you guys come in with a staggering I think it's 21 seniors returning this year on your team. You've got well more than 21 letter winners coming in this year. So, what are some of the things? Are you guys trying to get the younger guys ready? Are the younger guys looking to you, or is it kind of focusing on we got to get ready now?
I think we have 15 seniors this year. We have had some kids drop. We've had a couple kids end up leaving, or they just don't want to play this year. But I think the younger guys do look to us for help and A lot of us have played 3 years. We have a couple 4-year players. But yeah, we've had a lot of varsity experience. So the younger guys do look up to us, and they do ask us questions a lot. And I think it's more just, the seniors, they're going to have guaranteed. Now we only have guaranteed 8 more games this year. So I think it's let the seniors get their last minutes on the high school field. And then if you're up by a lot, like we worked against Grand Valley, let the younger guys get in. But they do take their reps in practice, so they're getting used to it a little bit more week in and week out.
Now you guys have a really phenomenal coaching staff over there. From Coach Coop on down. You know what I mean? What are the culture? What are the expectations for you guys when you take on the field? What are some of the things that you've noticed that have changed with this coaching staff?
For sure. Our coaches harp on the standard a lot, and the standard means a lot of different things. I think for us, though, it means going out and showing that we're a dominant force on the field and that we're going to either throw the ball for 300 yards or we're going to run the ball for 300 yards. Either way, we're going to be dominant on the field, and you have to try and stop us on offense. We're very confident in our defense as well this year. This offseason, a lot of our guys have hit the weight room harder than they have in years past. A lot of linemen have, and they've all bought into the process that Coach Coop and the other coaches are trying to emphasize on the players. So I think it's really helping.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome. Now, every game matters. Every single game matters. But you guys are in a new conference this year in that CVC Lake. You guys have been a part of the CVC your entire high school career, obviously, but now you're in that CVC Lake, which is very, very close to the old NEC conference, which was just made up of county teams. It still pretty much is, with the exception of Madison. What does that mean to you as a senior, going back to a county league, a county division, and the ability to possibly dominate the county?
It feels good. When we were in BCMFL, we were playing these teams, including Madison, so we're used to them, I would say. But them being closer, you always have a little bit more adrenaline when it comes to those games. So I think no matter how good or bad that team is, it's always going to be a good game between the two schools. Just because you know a lot of those guys. But I like the county conference a lot better. I think it's more enjoyable, too, because you see a lot of new faces when you're playing. And it's fun because you want to compete against those guys so you can have bragging rights when you're with your friend groups.
Yeah, now you mentioned the BCMFL, so that leads me right into my next question. Obviously you didn't pick up a football last year. How long have you been playing football?
I've been playing since I was 7. I started off 1 year in AMFL for the Browns and then immediately went over to BCMFL. And I started quarterback in 8th grade, but before that I played fullback, running back. So.
Yeah, I think because we saw one of our broadcasters and your grandfather shared some old footage of you actually catching the touchdown pass back in the day. So you make the switch to go from catching to throwing. That's awesome. But again, like I was saying, every single game matters. You want to get ready for every single game, and you don't want to overlook anybody. With that being said, there are some games that everybody gets hopped up for. You double circle. They mean a ton. What are those games, or what is that game for you this year?
I have 2 bigger ones this year. I'm going to go number 1, definitely Geneva. Obviously, we played them last year, and it didn't go as planned. So I think this year we're going to come back, and we're going to put more points up on this year for sure. And then another one being Jefferson, because they had a really good team last year. They made it far, top 4 in the region, which is nice, or actually in the state. So that's cool. And I definitely want to play them again, get that out of the way. But yeah, those are the 2 schools. And then obviously Lakeside too, but I'm more worried about Geneva and Jefferson.
Yeah, the Battle of the Bridge is always a great one. But that's one of the great things about this new conference alignment, this new CVC Lake division. Is every week. You know what I mean? You can virtually put a rivalry game every week, whether you're playing for the Hoadley Cup, the Battle for the Bridge, whatever comes up between you and Geneva, which I'm sure will come up sooner than later because that's become a rivalry for the ages, or Ashtabula County's oldest rivalry in Conneaut. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. You guys have had a great year so far. I think it was to be expected. You guys, had a lot of guys coming back, a lot of high levels, including those 2 guys who are sitting right next to you, who are really ready to come out and play. But before I let you go, Tony, what is when Edgewood takes the field this year? when we see the Warriors, whether it's a win, we won't talk about a loss, when the Warriors are on the field and they're winning a ball game, what can we look forward to watching? What can we take away from that team?
I think you're just going to see a lot of offense, a lot of receivers trying to find grass, and a lot of receivers running backs doing their job behind the ball. But I think you're going to see a lot of offense. You're going to see a lot of big hits on defense as well, and a lot of interceptions. We have a lot of playmakers this year, so it should be fun.
Yeah, tonight we're going to be releasing some of the county leaders in both offensive and defenses, and both of those guys who are sitting on the couch with you are going to be on there. You guys are going to have to stay tuned to see where they're at, but both of them have made their mark early in this one. They say offense sells tickets and defense wins championships, so you got to hold up your end of the bargain because I think they're going to do theirs.
For sure.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us tonight, Tony. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Good luck against Harvey. Big game. I think this is a game that a lot of people are going to have their eyes on you. So make sure you get the work done. Listen to Coach Coop. Listen to the rest of the squad. And I can't wait to update your stats next week because I know they're going to be phenomenal for all of you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys. All right, everybody, that was Tony Hall, and he was joined by Mikey Bisbee and Seth Enos. Tony Hall obviously going out there making his name well known. He started last year, to be honest with you. He is a phenomenal passer. He's a phenomenal passer who is absolutely loaded with talent on that team. You want to talk about a receiving core that is completely stacked. I don't think I've ever seen one as stacked as what Edgewood is coming out with this year. And then they've got guys in the backfield like Zeke, like Seth Enos, who can really open up that offense. But I think what goes kind of undercover for that Edgewood team is their defense. It's something that, Coach Cooper talked about taking very, very personal last year. I think people overlooked their defense, undervalued their defense, and you've got guys like Seth Enos and Zeke Lucas right there in the middle who absolutely cause havoc. Mikey Bisbee is a big-time tackle guy. They're getting interceptions. You've got, Anthony Hunt, who is an offensive player who can make a big difference on defense. And don't forget about Jacob Ernst, who can also pull the ball right out of the air. Let's go to a couple of our comments so far. That was one of the guys sitting in the room with them. Coach Rich says, no run, no win. Mike Alexia, who is one of the broadcasters for Edgewood. He is part of that team with Larry Jennings. You're going to be able to hear these guys in Painesville at Harvey on Friday. Really looking forward to that one. They are racking it up. And then Coach Cooper, he's got to support his boys. That's my quarterback. And that's my quarterback is coming from a guy who was my quarterback. So big time respect on that one. We've got Duda Walter saying, yo. And Mike coming back in and saying, what a start by that team. And he is absolutely right. What a start by this Edgewood team. I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of people were looking for them to maybe fumble that first game. That Liberty game was, I think, one that people, they expected them to lose, and Edgewood went out there and did everything but lose. It was a home game. They got the job done. Tony Hall has really taken it seriously this year. This is a multi-sport athlete kid. He's a big-time baseball player as well for that team, for that school. A great catcher over there. But when it was time to get ready for football, he got back into football mode. And Edgewood is a team that I think we all should be keeping our eyes on. Very, very good. Very, very good offensively. And the defense has improved a ton. An absolute ton. So let's run over to some of the scores, actually, from Friday night. Now we'll bring these up. You can find all these scores on www.ysnlive.com/scores. You'll have to go to the date that you're looking for, and that's where you're going to find them. Remember, YSN Live, your sports network, is your home for Ashtabula County High School sports, with 7 of the 8 Ashtabula County teams all signed in and all taking part of this. I'm really, really proud that we are offering more high school football broadcast, more coverage for more teams than ever in the history of Ashtabula County. And none of that is going to be available without the help of some of the people who have joined the team this year. Obviously, the help of the guys from YSN, and help from help and support from the parents and the fans. If we didn't have you guys and we weren't valuable to you, the schools wouldn't allow us in. So to all the school administrators who understood and who absolutely took advantage of this opportunity for their athletes to get free exposure. Remember that. That's another big thing that I don't think people realize. This is something we do. We don't charge the schools a dime. This is something we do for the athletes. All right, let's start over here. We're going to go Archbishop Hoban. Archbishop Hoban's going to win 44-12 over Erie Cathedral Prep. Now, Erie Cathedral Prep, for those of you, and I understand this is an outside of the 440 area, but this is a big-time game. Cathedral Prep was actually able to beat them last year. They turned that around very, very quickly. You've got Shaw and East at 58-0. East winning in that one. Upset of the night, I believe, for most. Hold on, let me pop some up here. Coach Rich watching from Florida. I appreciate it, Coach. I appreciate it big time. Don't tune out yet, guys. We've got volleyball and the stat leaders coming here soon after we get through these scores. I believe this was considered the upset of the night with Green beating South Range. South Range was slated to go undefeated. They have not lost a regular season game since 2019, so that was a big one there. Lakeside and NDCL. That game actually gets changed from NDCL to Lakeside due to a power outage, and NDCL brought that whole home cooking to Lakeside for Lakeside. Had a tough night there. Lakeside was able to get a score there, but it's a tough game, and they've got another tough one coming up this week. Dragons are going to have to, kind of strap up and get ready because the schedule does not get any easier. Toronto is going to go 48-0 over East Palestine. You're going to have Girard 49-7 over Liberty. Waterloo is 21-0 over Latonia. This one, you could catch this also right here on YSN Live, Western Reserve and Conneaut. I want to send a huge shout out to our friends over at WOW TV, the AM radio station that has been providing coverage to Conneaut for years and years and years. Matt Jarvie and Ben Jarvie and the whole crew for joining YSN. With them joining YSN, you will never miss a Conneaut football game. They will always be available right here as well as on their YouTube page. Very, very happy to add them to the team. Great guys who do a great job on the broadcast. Incredibly, incredibly happy to get those guys involved with us this year. Night didn't go how they wanted it, though. Western Reserve is going to go 28-24. They lose in a close one in that one. We'll start back up here. Ashtabula, St. John, and Wycliffe, it's 48-12 in that one. Now, this one is, I talked about it a little bit last week. Wycliffe is good at what St. John struggles against. And that's why the score looks the way it does. Wycliffe is a run-first team. They're going to be a run-heavy team. And St. John, that has been one of the things that they have tried to get better at. And they are getting better every single week. But right now, just not there. Running is what the Wycliffe Blue Devils do, and that's what they did on Friday night. St. John's offense, getting out there and scoring some touchdowns. You're going to see that some of their players on the leaderboard this week when it comes to the passing numbers, when it comes to the receiving numbers. They're going out there. Their offense is working. So that one doesn't work in their favor in that one. It's going to be Ashtabula St. John 12, Wycliffe 48. You've got Columbiana losing to McDonald 21-14. Hubbard gets a big one over Greenville 35-7. Poland Seminary 41-0 over Howland. Watch out because the Bulldogs are ready again this year. Uniontown Lake goes 42-31 over Boardman. Niles is going to fall to Alliance 45-28. Weirton Madonna 32-0 over Wellsville. West Branch getting a big one, 34-0 over Woodridge. West Branch is one of those names that you should really get used to seeing because they always seem to end up playing one of these teams up here. In the basketball side, I'm pretty sure they've played Edgewood every year. And obviously in the football side, Jefferson meets them in the regional championship last year. Beaver Local, who is going to be facing off against Jefferson this week, getting a win here, 41-0 over a very, very good Salem team. Fairport Harding is going to lose to Lisbon, 14-6. East Liverpool, 27-7 is the final in that one. Those Pymatoonie Valley Laker boys get it done against Cardinal. The Huskies are going to fall, 28-13. Peavy goes out there, and they're starting to come into their own again as well, which is strong, knuckle up. Let's keep it on the ground and keep it power based. and that's what they do. You've got guys like Ty Vickery and Ryan Croston that really can lead the way on the rushing attack for them, and when those guys are both moving, good luck stopping the Lakers. Louisville is going to beat Campbell Memorial 33-14. Rittman 50-0 over Wyndham. Jackson Milton is going to go 47-14 over Newton Falls. Canfield is going to fall to Mansfield Senior 24-14. Another one of those games that I think a lot of people around here were paying attention. Don't forget Canfield, the Division III state champion. Canfield Cardinals having a rougher start than they wanted to this year, that is for sure. And one of the things to keep in mind is actually the Division II state champion in Toledo Central Catholic last year bumped down to Division III this year. So that Division III is not going to be for the weak. Outside of Division IV, I think they probably have the hardest run. And the only reason Division IV has the hardest run is because they've got these guys from Cleveland named the Glenville Tarblooders, who are going to be an absolute monster to beat. I'm not sure that I'll be honest with you. I don't know that any team in the state is going to be able to beat Glenville. Central Valley is going to go 36-35. Austintown Fitch loses a very close one there, a heartbreaker. Obviously, Grand Valley and Edgewood, we just have the player of the week on with Tony Hall. 55-0, they go out there. Mustangs still trying to find their way. Grand Valley is their offense is kind of switched over. They're trying to go a little bit more run-based. I could be wrong. Let's go back to some comments here. Robert Vickery, PV going big this year, and they absolutely should. They've got the size to do it. They definitely have the size to do it. But, talking about Grand Valley, it looks like they're going over into like a wing T type of formation. So there are some growing pains when you're going into a formation like that. And, I'm sure they're going to get through it. This one, to me, was another surprise of the night. And that's Lakeview going 32-13 over Jefferson. I know that Jefferson is rebuilding. I know that, they lost their quarterback, their top receiver, their top linebacker, and they lost their top lineman as well. But they are bringing back some guys that are really good football players. And, I know it's a rebuild, but I expected them to win this ball game. And Lakeview is one that I think surprised me on how good they actually were. This was less of a Jefferson was a bad team and more of a Lakeview is a good team. I think Lakeview is surprising a lot of people in how good they really are. And thank God for Jefferson getting out of that NE8, because that NE8 is a dogfight this year, folks. It is an absolute dogfight. We got Gavin Cheney saying, I wanted Fitch to beat Central Valley, but they just couldn't hang on in the end. Yeah, those are the hard ones. When you drop it at the end like that, it's an absolute heartbreaker because it could go either way. You know what I mean? That's one of those games where, if you play it 10 times, one team probably wins 5, the other team wins the other 5. So those are a heartbreaker. Another one to watch out, another score to keep track of this week, Springfield, Middletown Springfield 42, Brookfield 7. Now, the reason why you're going to want to keep an eye on this is because Geneva is going to host Springfield. Now, that game going to be right here on YSN Live, called by Noah Doherty and CJ Shrouds. They're going to be on the call there. Springfield has started off cold in week 1, picked it up again in week 2. Geneva, on the other hand, 2-0. Getting wins, big wins early in the year, University and Struthers. A lot of people had picked Geneva to lose to Struthers, so it looks like Geneva right back on the train again. I'm not surprised. Geneva is bringing back their entire backfield from last year. They have a young man by the name of Bryce Pete, who is coming into his second year in the offense. And if you know anything about Geneva, if there's a Pete in the backfield, you're going to have a tough day. Luke Smith, Hayden Deemer, Kenny Young as a quarterback, that backfield can really, really get the job done. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting to see that for the first time on YSN this week, as they're going to take on Middletown Springfield. And, Springfield, if they are going to start their year off, this is going to be a statement game for them. Because Geneva is going to win a lot of football games this year. I can tell you that much. Crestview and Southern, it's going to be Crestview 6, Southern 38. Ursuline and Padua Franciscan. Ursuline goes 38-7 over Padua. Ursuline is going to be hosting the Lakeside Dragons this week. And this was one of the reasons I told you guys that the schedule does not get easier for Lakeside. They have to go down to Youngstown and play a very, very, very good Ursuline team. I'm never going to count any of our teams from this area out. I think that, if you put in the work, if you get out there, play good, perfect football, you can win that game. But you're not going to be able to make any mistakes against a team like Ursuline because they're like piranhas and sharks. If there's blood in the water, they're going to jump on it. Mineral Ridge goes 49-14 over Orange. And as I was saying earlier, Geneva 31-22, a win over Struthers. Geneva able to hold on there as they were dominating early in that game. And then Struthers starts to come back and they just don't have enough time. Geneva's able to hold it off. We're going to jump into the Saturday games. And the reason why we're going to do that is because I actually had a chance to cover a game outside of our area. And I want to talk a little bit about it. Garrettsville Garfield, this is a huge upset if you ask me. Warren JFK, Garrettsville Garfield 61-26. An upset, not that they beat JFK, it's that they beat the mess out of JFK. That's what surprised me. I know Garrettsville's Garfield is very good. I watched those guys rush for about 1,000 yards in a playoff game right there in Conneaut. So I know that they're good. But I also know that Warren JFK is very, very good. So it's very surprising to me that they lost that game in that style. But the G-men over there in Garrettsville, they might be for real again this year, folks. Rootstown and Champion 41-0. Rootstown getting the W there. The one I want to talk about here is the LeBray and Valley Christian game. And I understand that some of these teams are teams that here in the 440 area, you guys are not very familiar with. And I want to talk to you about, some of these teams under the umbrella so you can get kind of an overlook of what Northeast Ohio football has to offer. Valley Christian is a very, very good football team. They are very, very fast. They have a kid by the name of Jay-Sean Lindsay, who might be one of the best running backs in the state. He's definitely one of the best in Northeast Ohio. LeBray is a team that I think a lot of people overlooked, myself included. I watched LeBray, and I can hear Ryan, my old co-host, Ryan Cole, I can hear him saying in my ear, that's why 7-on-7s don't mean anything, because I watched LeBray in a 7-on-7, and I did not expect them to go out there and perform the way they did. What they did on that Saturday, LeBray was in probably the fastest defense I've seen all year this year. They are right now on the ball. You're not going anywhere. They're not giving you up an inch. Their offense is that wing T so they can play, clock control. So they only have to get a little bit of a lead, and then they can just continue to punch you in the mouth on defense and just wear you down. So much so that the first possession of this game, LeBray keeps the ball. They do not give the ball back to Valley Christian in the first quarter until 41 seconds are left. That's how long they kept the ball. It was a defensive game and when they got on defense, Valley Christian just couldn't do anything. They were on the quarterback. They tried to run some wildcat over there at Valley Christian, get the ball into the hands of the playmakers, and they jumped on them. And with that, LeBray's going to finish that one 20-0. It was really a phenomenal game. I encourage you guys to go over to ysnlive.com, check out the replay, because that was one of those games, I think, where if you want to see a defense that is incredibly fast, that is ready to go right now, doesn't matter who's there, you want to go check out those LeBray Vikings. They definitely surprised me in that one. It was a great game. I really enjoyed that. Got to call that with Larry Jennings right there in beautiful Liberty High School in their stadium down in Youngstown. It was a whole lot of fun. But I am running a little bit long, so I'm going to go over to a break right now. We're going to get some commercials in, and when we come back, we are going to talk about some of the week 2 volleyball or week 1 volleyball leaders, and then we're going to jump into the football leaders for the week. This is the point in the show I want to remind everybody, and I guess I'm getting to the point I just want to appeal to everybody. Let you guys all know that here we go. Let you guys all know that the 440 Sports Show is looking for some advertisements. I'm looking for some sponsorships. I'd love to get some businesses out there and promote what you guys are doing right here in the 440. This show is for the 440, but this show goes all over the place. From Lake Erie to the Mahoning River, everybody in between, that's your YSN umbrella. It's a great way to get your business out there. It's a great way to get your product out there. And most importantly, at least to me, it's a great way to help your local youth. Everything you guys do, everything we get advertisement, everything gets pumped right back into this. And all our job is, the only thing we're doing is trying to increase exposure for these kids and give them opportunities that otherwise they may not have. So let's go over to, and if you are interested in, contact me on my Facebook, my Instagram. You can email me at 440andgoal@gmail.com. You can go to ysnlive.com and click under the advertisement there, and it'll go right through there, and you can contact them there. Again, it's a great way to get your product out there. I don't know what the numbers are right now, but I know before week 1, ysnlive.com, 9 million views. You'll never get better regional advertisements for a better price than what we're offering you right here. That much I can promise you. So let's go to a word from our sponsors here really, really quickly, and when we come back, it's time for the County Leaders.
Sheely's is more than a furniture store. We're a hub for all of your appliance needs. We offer the widest selection at everyday low prices, with over $1 million of in-stock inventory from Whirlpool, KitchenAid, LG, GE, and more. Our knowledgeable, no-pressure sales staff can help you find the perfect appliances for your home. We're there for you beyond your purchase to service what we sell and offer free local delivery with 24-month special financing. Sheely's, the best things in life happen at home.
House troubles can attack anytime. When trouble strikes, call Mighty Mike. Your hometown hero is on his way. HVAC causing havoc? Has your furnace gone mad? Mighty Mike Heating and Cooling will save the day. Commercial or residential, 24/7. For quality service you can depend on, call your hometown hero. Call Mighty Mike.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining 440 Sports Show. My name is Sam Torres, and this is the home for Ashtabula County High School sports right here on the 440 Sports Show, part of the YSN Live family right here. Very, very excited. For the first time this year, we are going to add in volleyball leaders. So I want to preface this with these are from the stats that were available to me. So if, just like the leaders in football, I'm sure I'll catch all kinds of flack for the leaders in volleyball, but I want to do my best to highlight all the athletes I possibly can. And we're going to start right now with the lakeside or with the volleyball portion. All right, here we go, and we're going to start off with the Lakeside Dragons, who actually they went 2-1 last week. That's a misprint already early in this one, and it's going to be this might be the wrong one actually. It absolutely is. So let me remove that and give me 2 seconds. You got to love live stuff, right? Let's get the right one on here because, as I was saying, we had an update. We had an updated stat from some of these coaches. So I want to make sure I'm giving you guys the most up-to-date portion. So just bear with me. And we'll get that in here right now. as that's loading up. Here we go. There we go. Now we are up to date. Sorry about that, folks. But here we go. Lakeside is going to go 1-2 last week, defeating Warren Harding. Then they're going to take losses to Willoughby South and St. John. Their stat leaders this week, Andy Milkovsky is going to be their kill leader with 18. Their ace leader is going to be Tess Collins with 7. Their block leader is going to be Peyton Woodring, who I believe is just a freshman, with 3 blocks on the year or on the week. Tess Collins is going to be their dig leader with 33, and Addie Warner, their assist leader with 33. I want to send a special congratulations out to Andy Milkovsky on reaching 1,000 career assists this past week. Congratulations, and well done, Lady Dragons. Moving on to the Edgewood Warriors here, and you're going to go they go 4-2 last week, and this is from 821 to 828. That's where these stats are coming from. The Warriors go 4-2, defeating Pymatuning Valley, St. John, Perry, and Grand Valley. They took losses to Jefferson and Chardon. Their stat leaders for the week are going to be Faith Venzel, who is their kill leader with 63. Their ace leader is McKenna Rhodes with 11. Faith Venzel is their block leader as well, 18 blocks for her. McKenna Venzel is going to be their dig leader with 126 digs just last week. And Gianna Iannetta with 136 assists, all from 821 to 828. Those Lady Warriors are out there getting the job done. Well done out there on their 4-2 week. Also moving on here, we're going to go to the St. John Heralds, who went 3-1. Last week, defeating Lakeside, Bristol, and Lordstown. The Heralds do take a loss to Edgewood last week. Their kill leader is going to be Abby Johnson with 36. Their ace leader, also Gabby Johnson, with 15. Block leader is going to be Isabella Holler with 9. Gabby Johnson is going to be their dig leader with 68. And Lizzie Ducrow, who is their assist leader this week, with 81. The Jefferson Falcons go 4-0 last week, defeating Orange, Berkshire, Chardon, and Edgewood. Their kill leader last week is going to be Chloe O'Rourke with 74. Sarah Stone is their ace leader with 10. Abby Cotton, their block leader, with 8. Chloe O'Rourke is going to be their dig leader as well with 48. And Helena Edgar with 114 assists is their leader as of last week. Moving right along, we're going to go to the Conneaut Spartans, who go 2-1. They defeated Pymatuning Valley and Northwestern Pennsylvania. The Spartans taking a loss to Grand Valley. Their leaders for last week, Kayla Farley. Kayla Farley is going to be 33 on the kill count. She's also their ace leader with 8. Bella Fix is going to be their block leader with 8. Kayla Farley is going to be their dig leader with 54. And their assist leader, Lexi Brown, with 40. Well done, Lady Spartans. Mustangs, the Grand Valley Mustangs went 2-1 last week. They defeated Conneaut and Fairport, taking a loss to Edgewood. Their kill leaders are Michaela Hopes and Kaylin Hart with 2 each. Their ace leader is Michaela Hopes with 2. Block leader Dixie Miller and Kaylin Hart with 1 each. Digs leader is Michaela Hopes with 6. And assist leader Riley Ellsworth with 3. Pymatuning Valley Lakers, they go 1-4 last week, defeating Matthews. They did take losses to Champion, JFK, Edgewood, and Conneaut, and unfortunately, no stats available for them this week. Right now, I am. We'll see. We'll try and get as many stats in here as we possibly can. I am kind of at the mercy of availability, but I will continue to report those volleyball stats every single week as a part of the show, just like we always have done. All right, guys, let's get in to the football leaders. And this week, I think, is going to be exciting. There's going to be some guys that you didn't expect. All right, everybody, welcome. As we get ready to go in here, and some reason we started on slide number 7, but we're going to go back. So your county passing leaders this week, and this is the one I was really Curious to see how this was going to go. Double checked, everything is right. St. John Herald's Vin Narducci is the county's passing leader going into this week. Now, they have had a tough beginning of the year. I completely understand that. But the one thing that they have done well is throw the ball. And Vin Narducci going 20 for 39 with 405 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and only 1 interception is enough to put him in the top spot this week. In second place is going to be Tony Hall, 20 for 33. He's got 335 yards, 6 touchdowns, not a single interception for that young man. Sammy Goforth over there in Grand Valley is 11 for 27, 208 yards for that young man, 4 interceptions to no touchdowns right now for him. Ryan Croston, 9 for 17, 154 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions for that young man. The Dragons leader, Alex DeSalvatore, 13 for 30, 129 yards, 1 touchdown to 3 interceptions. The Dragons have had a rough go of it. That game last week against NDCL was not a helpful one. But he could really, the Dragons can turn it around right here. You get a win over Ursuline, and let me tell you, that puts you into the stratosphere. You talk about season-changing wins. That can happen this very week. Over at Jefferson, you've got Cage Bozar, 5 for 8 with 92 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. And Conneaut's Max Gleason, again, they like to run, folks. 5 for 10 with only 45 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But again, they like to run the ball out there. And you're going to see right here. As we get into the rushing leaders going into week 2, it's Cage Bozar at the top with the Falcons. 38 carries for 352 yards, 3 touchdowns for Bozar. Max Gleason in second place with 38 carries. He's got 327 yards, 4 touchdowns for the Conneaut quarterback. Right behind the quarterback is the Conneaut running back. Week 1, player of the week, Wyatt Payne. 32 carries, 256 yards, 2 touchdowns for that man. Devin Miller, who is a youngster in this Lakeside offense, coming out this year, I believe, as a sophomore. 35 carries, 210 yards for that young man, 2 touchdowns. He's one you guys need to keep your eye on. Devin Miller, certified playmaker. The young man can run like a gazelle. He's only going to get better, and he's running behind what I believe is the best offensive line in the county as it stands. I know I'm going to catch all kinds of crap for that, but show me I'm wrong. Ryan Croston is going to be next on the list. 40 carries, 196 yards, 3 touchdowns there. Anthony Hunt, 14 carries, 161 yards, 1 touchdown there. Ty Vickery with 38 carries, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns there. And Zeke Lucas, 16 carries with 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. Another surprising one right here, folks, as we get into the receiving. Our receiving leader this week is St. John's Will Anderson. Will Anderson with 9 receptions, 221 yards, 3 touchdowns for the Herald's top pass catcher. He's not the only Herald on this list. The one thing St. John is doing well is throwing the ball. Will Anderson is an athlete with a capital A. If he gets the ball, if you can get the ball to him, he is gone. I watched it happen in Wycliffe. I watched it happen in the first week when they went against Trinity. He's got great hands. He's got great speed. That's why he's at the top of this list this week. Jacob Ernst in second place with 8 receptions, 145 yards for him, 1 touchdown. Jefferson's Devin Salinas, 3 receptions, 90 yards. John Foss Peters over there in Grand Valley, 5 receptions, 89 yards. Anthony Severino, 4 receptions, 87 yards. Bobby the Grasshopper Rogers over there in Grand Valley. We haven't forgot about you, young man. 4 receptions, 85 yards early in the year. I'm looking forward very much to seeing him kind of jump back into midseason form. And then Zach Carlton Hull over at Edgewood, 2 receptions for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. This is another one I was talking about. Guys, you should keep an eye on. It's this one right here. Athletically, one of the best I've ever seen. When they can get the ball to him, he causes absolute havoc. He's a very, very difficult man to tackle, and he is fast as lightning. Going over onto the defensive side of the ball, your top tackler this week Zeke Lucas over there at Edgewood. A lot of these names you're going to see are the same names you saw last year. We got a lot of guys returning. And these guys were the top tacklers last year, and I expected nothing less than that this year. Zeke Lucas at the top right now, total tackles, 19.5. This is a good time for me to remind everybody the way tackles are calculated here. A solo tackle counts as 1 point. A sack or a tackle for loss counts as an additional point. If it's an assisted tackle, it counts as half of a point. So if you have 10 assists and 5 solo tackles, then you have 10 total tackles because the assists only count for half. That's pretty much the way everybody across the nation calculates tackles. So if there's any questions, I am free and I will answer anything you guys have. Again, Zeke Lucas right now, 19.5 tackles. Ty Colville, the Conneaut, I believe coming into this year already, he already leads the school all time in tackles coming in as a senior. He's already got 19 of them. Seth Enos right behind him with 17.5. Bryce Sperlin with 15. Mikey Bisbee, who was on the call with Tony Hall earlier in this one, 14 tackles for him already. Mason Thor, the young man over at Edgewood, 13.5 tackles for him. Ty Vickery over at PV, he's got 13. And Caleb Stitt over there at Lakeside, rounding it out with 11.5 tackles. All right, here we go to tackles for loss. Now, Zeke Lucas at the top here, and this is another reason why he kind of gets a boost in the total tackles. He's got 4 TFLs. Right behind him is Mason Thor with 3, and Ty Colville with 3. We have 11 players in the county right now that are tied with 2 tackles apiece. So week 3 going to be a separator for a lot of our defensive players. Our sack leaders right now, Mason Thor is the lone man with 2 sacks on the year. Behind him, we've got a bunch of guys with 1, including PV's John Finello, Edgewood's Zeke Lucas, Edgewood's Nick Wyman, Conneaut's Bryce Sperlin, and Conneaut's Scotty Edwards. And our interception leaderboard, PV's Alex Simon with 2, leading the pack right now. Anthony Hunt with 2, tied at the top. AJ Sassler over at Lakeside's got 1. Anthony Severino at St. John with 1. Seth Enos at Edgewood with 1. Jacob Ernst at Edgewood with 1. Christian Brott with 1. Max Gleason with 1. And Brad Agnew with 1. And I'll tell you guys a funny story about the Christian Brott interception. I actually had to call the head coach, Elijah Cooper, there at Edgewood to make sure that I was getting good information. Because for those of you who don't know and who aren't familiar with Edgewood, which I'm pretty sure you're going to get very familiar with them very soon, 2 Brats on the same team. You got Hunter and you got Christian. Christian, a defensive lineman, and Hunter is a defensive back. So I thought for sure this must be a typo. They must have given it to the wrong Brat. Absolutely not. Christian Brott responsible for a defensive lineman interception in week 1. Congratulations. Hats off to you, fella. That is a great way to start your year. But those are your leaders right now for the county. As you can see right now, there's a lot. Everybody's really, really close. Now, I do also want to say this as well. Early in the year. Now, I've already been asked before, and I don't want to keep harping on this every single week. But the reason why we don't have Geneva stats up there, and the reason why we don't have Geneva stuff on the 440 sports page and YSN and that sort of thing, they're not signed with YSN. We've worked diligently for months. Myself personally, about 8 months, I worked as hard as I very well could to try and get that relationship going. Meetings, emails, everything I could possibly do. It just didn't happen. The media contract, the media agreement it's not signed yet. I still have my fingers crossed that one day it's going to be, but until they are, we can't do anything because they're not part of YSN. So with them not being part of YSN, we can't really talk. I don't know their stats because we're not following their teams, that sort of thing. So it's something I'm hoping changes. But as right now, I can't do anything else. I've done as much as I possibly could. It's a heartbreaker for me. For those of you who know how this all started for me, me and Ryan went to Geneva versus Madison to start off this whole grand scheme. Went out there and with a telephone in the left end zone, under an umbrella, covered the game and broadcasted it, and that's really what kind of started the wheels turning. So for that to be the only piece in the puzzle that is not part of it, it's hard. It's something that I struggle with. I struggled with it the whole time. I went back and forth. I've tried. I've sent emails. I projected everything I possibly could to make this happen. I want to put out there, I want you guys to be reminded, this is 100% free. This costs any school district $0. We do absolutely everything. At the end of the year, it's all on us. We provide everything. All we ask is a place to go. We just need a place to be and a place to be able to broadcast. We just need to be welcomed, I assume, in essence. For 7 out of the 8 schools here in Ashtabula County, that was enough. They valued what we did. They value what we do. And to you guys, I am forever grateful. One of my biggest things was when I started this was to promote and increase exposure in an area of Ohio that I feel like is painfully underexposed and undervalued. And I've worked tirelessly for the past three and a half years to try and do that. And I've met a lot of great people, and there's been a lot of, great administrative teams, and I've walked into these schools and I've learned, and I've met so many great people, and they've helped this thing along. And for the ones that understand how important this is to the kids and why this is important, thank you. Thank you. And for the ones that don't, I hope your mind changes, because I truly believe that what this does is provide an extra, again, $0. $0 to the district. It costs $0. We do everything. If you have questions, you have to reach out to the administrators. You got to reach out to your school. You got to talk to those people. That's the only way you can get it changed. I've tried. I promise you I did. That's going to be it for that point. It's something that I've been asked questions on for the last couple of weeks, and I've been trying to push it off, hoping it change. It's not going to right now. At least not from my end. I can't do anything. So that's what I got on that. Hopefully, again, that changes sometime in the future. Let's talk about some of the upcoming games this week. Although I will tell you this. There is a silver lining. Geneva will be on some of on available on here because they do play a lot of YSN schools. So when they play the YSN schools, Lakeside, Edgewood, Conneaut, Jefferson, they just played Struthers, Springfield. They're going to be on here because we are signed with them and we are those schools' media team. So that is one cool thing. So it's just, we'll never be able to be the Geneva home team, I guess, is really what it comes down to, which kind of stinks, and hopefully that changes before too long. All right, coming up this week, week 3, we're going to go through the matchups. You got Lakeside 1-1 heading over to Ursuline, who are 2-0. That one is going to be a tough one right there. Dragons, I am pulling for you. I may be the only one. I may be the only one in the picks this week that picks you, and that's fine. I will roll with you. I will drown with you. I will soar with you. Dragons, I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in Devin Miller. I believe in Alex DeSalvatore. I believe in Caleb Stitt. I believe in, one of the best offensive lines you're ever going to see out there. I believe they've got great defensive back plays. You know what I mean? I believe in the Dragons. I know nobody else is giving you guys a chance, but I am, because I know that you guys have a great football program there. I know you guys have great potential, and I know you guys have a chance to go out there and win this game. Go out there and shock the world. When nobody counts you out, those wins are the sweetest ones you can get. Let's get the job done this week, Lakeside. Edgewood, 2-0, going against Harvey, 0-2. This one is a close one, and I'm telling you, I'm not making my picks today because I'm joining the Power Hour on Friday, and I'll give you my picks there. But let me tell you this one right here. There's a lot of people who are not picking Edgewood, and I think they are out of their mind. I know Harvey is very good. I know they're very fast. They've been athletic for years. That's all great and well. Edgewood is moving and grooving, and they got some guys who are ready to play football. Conneaut heading over to Independence. You're going to be able to catch all these games this week. You're going to be able to catch on YSN Live. Another thing I'm very, very proud of. Conneaut 1-1. They're heading over to Independence, who is 0-2. Jefferson at 0-2, heading to Beaver Local at 1-1. Now, you want to talk about a game. That I think I talked about a season-changing point, right? When I talked about Springfield playing Geneva earlier. Like, it can change the trajectory of your season. For the Jefferson Falcons to go down to Beaver Local and get a win after a start that nobody wanted is a way to turn the wheel. You guys can do it. I know you can do it. Cage Bozar, Luke Funtash, Devin Salinas, you guys can get the job done. You got a great coach in Coach Hanna. I believe in you guys as well. It's going to be tough because Beaver Local is no punk. Beaver Local is the real deal. Going down there this week. That's a Friday game. That's going to be right there on YSN Live. Chris Siegler and Michael McKenzie are going to be on the call for that one. St. John and Beechwood. St. John 0-2 taking on Beechwood 0-2. That's going to be my call. I'll be there on Saturday with Ray Torado as my camera guy. St. John's had a rough couple weeks. This is one. You can grab it. Your offense is moving. Beechwood's had a tough start. You've had a tough start. We need to get tougher first. Oh, you know what? You are absolutely right. We do have a typo in this one. Thank you, Double J. Grand Valley is actually at PV this week. So Grand Valley and PV, the battle for the Valley Trophy happening at Pymatuning Valley. I'll get that graphic updated before we release it. That's a big one right there. Now, PV's 1-1, taking a loss to a very tough Mineral Ridge week 1. Grand Valley, again, they've still been trying to find their way. What better time to find your way than against your rival, right? What better time to find your way than for a trophy? Now, PV, on the other hand, they're saying, I know you're coming into the NAC next year, Grand Valley. Let me give you a little taste of what you get to look forward to. That's going to be a great game. Tyler Hartz and a couple Grand Valley students are actually going to be broadcasting that one right there on YSN Live as well. So you're going to want to make sure you don't miss any of these games. I promise you guys this week is going to be a phenomenal week for football. And YSN Live is going to be your home for every YSN Ashtabula County team. How awesome is that? The answer, there's never a question of is it streaming or where is it streaming? The answer is always yes. The answer is always YSN Live. YSN Live has become your home of high school sports. It's awesome that we have this available, for these kids out there. That's going to be actually, before I go, before we end the show, I do want to send a special shout out, and I don't want to get too kind of soppy or anything like that, but the president and CEO and one of my best friends, DJ Yoakley, who had the vision to make this all a thing, to make this happen, who had the vision to keep it going so big down there that when it came time for us to partner up, it just made sense. It's somebody, you talk about kindred spirits. You talk about somebody who you kind of keep you run on the same wavelength. And that's DJ Oakley for me. You know what I mean? I look up to him in a mentorship form. I see what he's done. I've looked to him for advice and that sort of thing. And he's helped me with a lot of things. And sometimes I like to think that I help him in different ways, but a friendship has formed over here in this last year. And unfortunately, DJ this week, or last week on Friday, DJ lost his mother. And I will never be able to more eloquently speak to his mother than he did. He talked about it on Power Hour yesterday, which is his 3:00 afternoon show. And he spoke to the importance of mothers, and he spoke to the importance of her. And for her name is Susan Yokley. While I never met her, what I can tell you is to produce such a phenomenal human being as DJ Yokley, you must have been an absolute superstar yourself. And I'm grateful for you, and I'm grateful for all the work that you did to produce such an awesome human being, such an awesome man, and somebody who I personally look up to. So to DJ, I just want to tell you, I'm very, very sorry. If you guys, see him, send your condolences to him. He's a great person who does a lot for a lot of people, and sometimes those people kind of get overlooked when things get tough. So I just want to take this moment to, let everybody know that, my condolences go to him and that he deserves your condolences right now as well. That's all I've got for this week, guys. I'm really, really looking forward to this football week. It's going to be great. When we come back next week, we'll have a new player of the week. We'll have some new volleyball stats, and we will have new leaders. I can almost guarantee that on the football side. Thank you all for joining. It's 440 Sports Show, Primetime, baby. And we'll be back. I'll see you guys soon.
This for the football. This for the football. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the football with that ghost. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmetto Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city, you wildin'. And they really doubt it, yeah. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them, yeah. And Connie, I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain, man. Shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. Switch for the folk